Hello, good morning, happy Tuesday. Hello, my friends, my freedom seeking friends. Carol Simon here, your Generation X freedom coach, former accountant, turned digital educator, and I focus on helping Generation X and those with curious minds rebuild financial confidence through simple, smart tools in the crypto space. And today we're going to talk about acceleration and why we don't no longer have to wait years for profits. Now, if you're watching this live, do say hello and let me know. Let me know in the chat about just putting a thumbs up. And if you're catching this on the replay, also pop a hashtag replay in the comments so I can come back and greet you properly and say hello, welcome. So tell me, here's a question for you. What's the longest time you've ever had to wait for an investment to pay off? Some of us have had to wait years, particularly in the mainstream world, or even in the crypto space. What's the longest time you've ever had to wait? Let me just see some comments in the chat. Some do take years, and patience is definitely an important key and an important attribute when creating wealth. We're not in the microwave generation, although many people want microwave wealth, but that's not what I'm saying here. But we are living in times where we can accelerate that process, and that's the most important thing. Most of us grew up with the idea that wealth takes decades. When we look at our pensions, when we look at our 30-year mortgages, when we look at our stock market growth over time, and these are still beneficial. It's good to have a mix of investments. But here's the problem. Time is also your most valuable asset. And some of us, by the way, didn't start creating wealth early enough to build up enough when we are at the retirement age. And I'm one of those. I've told my story many times. I've shared my story on LinkedIn. You can have a look to see my story. But this old model is slow. And we are now in a new era with blockchain. And blockchain changes that. Blockchain has fixed supply assets. And when you have a fixed supply asset, not like money, then when you have fixed supply assets, not like money, then there's limited supply. And because of limited supply, we can just look at Bitcoin as a perfect example. When you do have limited supply, what actually happens to the value of that token? And today we can see that there are many governments and even mainstream institutions now that are baking in Bitcoin into their wealth creation model. Because of the limited supply, we are now seeing how the value has risen to 125,000 USD today. That's amazing, isn't it? Over 15 years, you don't see that growth in mainstream investments, but you do in the blockchain space when you have limited supply. Now, what else can we say about acceleration? As I said already, time is your most valuable asset. So these days we can't afford to wait all that time now to see the fruition of our wealth. Mentioned Bitcoin as a prime example that has a limited supply of 21 million, and we've seen what's happened here. How does that compare to your 30-year pension? Have you seen that level of growth in over 30 years? We also have DeFi platforms that give an annual return of average 40% plus with simple liquidity pools. What else do we have? We also have trading bots that remove the emotion, and they generate monthly gains, not yearly gains, monthly gains. The old system is like waiting for dial-up internet to load a page. But DeFi is like a broadband. It's the same result, but just a lot faster. And who's interested in that kind of speed? So if you are, drop fast in the chat if you're tired of waiting decades to see profit. If you're not like me, you want to see things happen quicker, then type fast in the chat. Now here's my summary. Traditional finances drags time out. Blockchain compresses it. Acceleration equals more freedom sooner. So if you're like me, ready to get started right away, you can register using the link above right here. Or if you have more questions and you are new to blockchain, we have a twice weekly online workshop by one of the best educators around. And these are hosted on a Tuesday and a Thursday. And I do have the link for you where you will get to learn much more, and we will show you the tools that I use to accelerate returns safely. So if you want that link, comment Zoom or DM me and I will send it to you. And next week, we're going to talk about accumulation, why wealth is about what you keep and not about what you spend. Don't miss it. I'll see you then. Take care.